This conference will now be recorded.
So I think it was much kept.
Yeah.
So what do you remembered? Like we are discussing about the collections, right?
Yes. We are. Yes. We
Eh,
talked. Actually, I reviewed a little bit the slides you sent me this morning,
yes.
and I think we talked at the array list
Oh,
from the collection. Yes.
okay, fine.
Yes.
So you are clear up to that point, right?
Yes. And I saw for array list, I don't know we finished. So so there are two things, I think like two points or in the slide. Actually, on slide 4.
We'll see. Again, I'll just tell you what is an array list even. We'll just give a little.
Sure. No problem. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have a little recap also. So what's the main reason, so why we have gone for collection? Because there are some disadvantages with an array, and you have gone for the collection. So what is the disadvantage? Your arrays are not drawable in nature. Your arrays are fixed size. Your arrays do not have predefined methods. For example, when you want to do some addition or this kind of things, you don't have any predefined methods. So you have this reason. So for that reason, what you went from an array, we have shifted to the collection, and your collection is the one which will have all these things has been satisfied. And in collection, you'll be having will have different interfaces as well as the classes. And what we learn in collection is nothing but a studying of different classes, right? So your collection has been generally classified into three sets, like your list, set, and queue. And in the first phase, we are just discussing about the array list, right? We have started with an array list, and I think I have not taught you linked list, right? So
Yeah.
so we have an array list. So in this array list, we have seen, I think, how to add an elements and all this, right? So before going to an array list, we have seen what is the major difference between a list and set. So your list will allow the duplicates, and your set will, I'm just rushing it out because we have discussed all this. It's like a small recap. So your list will allow the duplicates, and your list will preserve the insertion, and your set will not allow the duplicates, and it will not preserve the insertion. It depends on the classes, right? You have some class in set also will preserve the insertion. We'll see that, right? But in case of list, whatever the class it may be the array list, it may be the vector, it may be the linked list. Every class will preserve the insertion, right? And you know what's an insertion order preservation. So these are the points that we have seen with array list. So what are the points that comes under list? Always comes, obviously it will be applicable for your array list, like maintains the insertion order and can contain duplicate values and all this. What are the points that we discussed? I think let flips is a little slow. And so for which your array list is better? Your array list is suitable for retrieval operation. So I have shared you an example why it is best for retrieval operation. Because for example, if the index is at 0th position or index at the some 100 position or 99 position, you can able to get that element very easily, right? And but it is not suitable for updation or manipulation. So for example, you see this is the array list. So for example, when you are trying to add an element to an array list, how it works internally. So for example, assume that you have an array list of size from 0 to 9, and you are trying to be, so these are the elements that are basically per set. So with 0 at index, you have 11, and you have all this. So for example, at fourth position, so it means what will be the index? Fourth position means 3. So 1, 2, 3. This is nothing but fourth position. So it means at the index. So at the index, you have the 5 value. But what I want at the index, I just want to add some 55, right? So you want to change the value 5, which is present at the third index. So I can do that. How I'll do? Al dot add index comma element, that particular 55. So for example, when you are going to add a 55 at this third index, so you already have 5, right? So what this 5 has to go? 5 has to come to the next position. So the element which is in next fourth index has to go to the next position. So in this case, how there will be an iterations happens. You see, the index gets increases to 10. You see, there is a shift happen in all the elements, and yeah, there is a 55 elements gets added at the third index. So, but the disadvantage is, like you see, this is like manipulation is difficult. For example, you want to add an element at the first index, and you have the size as something like 99. You have 100 elements in an array list. So for example, when you want to modify some element at the first index, what has to done? It has to do that 99 iteration has to happen. So by this thing, you can able to understand that manipulation or updating a data in your array list is little difficult. So it is like it is not suitable, right? But retrieval, it is not that case. So I'll just retrieve by based on that index. I'll just give that in that element name, and I'm going to retrieve. The same thing happens in case of removal. So for example, when you want to remove some element at fourth index, you just have to do. So here the iterations happens reverse way. It's like removing element 23. So for example, assume that you have a 6 at 6th index, you have 23 element, right? So when you want to remove, what happens? The element at previous index comes forward and your index gets changed. So the effect will not be there for this indexes, right? This is like updation or retrieval. But the both the cases, there is a disadvantages. So there is a shifting happens. Don't know, from morning my laptop is very slow. It's not at all working. Maybe it's Monday. Seriously, gets irritated if something, if it is very slow, or if it is not responding, happening like this. So you feel little frustrated actually. Even I was little scared to go out and repair this because of this COVID.
Is situation gets better in your area?
It's not better, but people have there is no affright for the people actually. So they are just going out, and the things were normal. Like people, there is no fear,
Okay.
and everything is opened actually. The cases are getting increased every day. You get the number is getting increased. What about your place?
Okay.
The same?
Yeah, so like now we still have the case, but it's like the situation is stable, but still get increase, but not like a lot. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's like like a 100 less than 100 a day, like in my area. Yeah. Yeah, but the
Okay.
people are still like getting normal, but yeah, but for the indoor, like you must wear a mask, like to protect
Okay.
like yourself. Yeah.
Here also, wearing a mask is a mandatory. When you go outside, wearing a mask is
Yes,
mandatory.
yes, yes. It's so that's yeah. So and yeah, yeah. But the school seem will reopen soon. That's like now it's a big concern for the people have
Okay.
kids. Yeah, that's a bigger concern. Like because it will be September 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, that will be a big concern for like many families.
Right now, the schools were running. No, right?
No, but like the government, they want to like open it, but like a lot. I think most people they they are also like concerned about the virus.
Okay.
But it seems they still it will still be open. So yeah, in 1 week. So yeah, that's I think that will be a risk. Yeah.
Okay,
And
so don't.
is school in your area is closed? Like
Yes, they have closed. Even they are saying that they'll get open, but not sure the date or these things were not.
okay, yeah. Yeah, it's better to be closed for now. I think it's like it should. I think
Even
it will be a big risk. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. I don't know
yes.
how like things will change in next week.
So if there is some again cases happens, they'll again shut down. There is nothing
Yeah,
like that.
that's true. That's true. They will shut down
So
and yeah.
again, they may open, but of what happens if there is a increase of children are getting affected. So if they open also, there are no parents will are ready to will be sending, right? So
Yeah,
it is.
I think it's risky. It's risky. Yeah, I don't
So
know why. Like, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to open for now. Yeah. Mm,
so not sure what happens.
yes. Yeah. Anyway, we will see.
So this is not required. So we have seen this with an array list, right?
Mm.
So we have a linked list. So in this linked list, the best thing is nothing but you can do an update.
Actually, I want to ask something about the array list.
Okay, tell me.
Yes, since it's loading, yeah. So in the because in the like slide 4, so there are something said that like array list is said that Java array list class is non-synchronized. What does
Yes,
that mean?
yes. I have not discussed. So whenever we have multi-threading concept, I'll be telling you that synchronized one. So as of
Uh
I'll tell
now
you.
as with now we just we skip it. Okay, I see. Sure, sure.
Now also I'll tell you what is synchronized as of now. So so we'll discuss that more when it comes to the multi-threading, right? So what is a synchronized is, for example, you will have one object, and in that one object, for example, there are multiple threads are trying to add that object simultaneously. That is called as not synchronized. For example, you have one object and only one thread is acting on that particular object. That is called as synchronized. A real-time example that I just want to tell you. For example, when you book for tickets for a flights or buses or railway, whatever it may be. So assume that you are having only two tickets or one ticket available in the flight or somewhere, right? So assume that that is nothing but the ticket that is available in the flight. Assume it is as an object, right? And the user who is booking the ticket, right? So there are many users who is going to try to book the ticket, right? So all that users you consider them as nothing but a threats, right? So whenever these threads are at a time, right? Then when they are acting on that object, that you call it as asynchronized, right? So whenever there is an asynchronized happens, there is an inconsistency of data. So you don't know for which person the ticket is getting booked, right? So you are not allowing them in one by one. So it is not guarantee. For example, you have started booking a ticket and you do some payment, and there is another thread comes, and if you allow that person to book the ticket, what happens? It is like conflicts happens, right? So that is nothing but your asynchronous. What is the meaning of asynchronous? You have one object. So whenever in case of programming also, you'll have different threads. So what is this thread and what is this? We'll see more. So it is, as of now, you can understand thread is something, a piece of code, or you assume it some work, right? Some
Uh,
has to get done.
I know thread actually.
Oh,
I took yeah because I took like a PE session with Kuma.
okay.
So I know a little bit about like the JVM like architecture and the thread. Yeah. So here you mean basically when the thread is accessing when multiple thread is accessing like one object that is called synchronized, right?
It is same time. So for example, the concept is whenever multiple threads are acting on an object at the same time, right? So there
Yeah.
is no, so then you call it as asynchronized. That is not synchronized, right?
That's it called async.
Asynchronized, yes.
Okay.
So for example, you have one object at some point of time, only one thread is going to act. Then the other threads will be in a waiting state.
Mm.
So that point of time that you call it as synchronized.
Okay, okay. So
Synchronized means at
yeah.
a time only one thread. So other threads will not act. For example, when you're trying to book the ticket, the other thread will not act on the ticket. Other threads will be in a waiting state. Once you completed your action only, the other thread will come and do that action. So until that time, that will be in a waiting state. That is nothing but your synchronizer. It is very sync, right? You cannot at the same time all the threads cannot act on that. So that is nothing but your synchronization. Like at a time only one thread, that is synchronized. At a time multiple threads acting on that, that is nothing but your asynchronous. Simple.
So async here you mean is non. Async means non-sync, right?
Yes, asynchronized means like non-synchronized. Your
So
array list is
okay.
not synchronized.
Yeah, so here Java released class is async, is non-sync. Right? You mean it's non-sync.
Yes, yes, it is
So
not sync.
non-sync means multiple threading can access this array list at the same time.
Yes, simultaneously or same time.
Simultaneously.
Yes.
Simultaneously.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Can access this class at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, what happened to this? Maybe it loads up to 8:30.
I see. Sync is means one by one. One thread finish his job, next thread go.
Yes, the other thread will go. Until that
Yeah.
time, that will be in a waiting state. So what
That's
happens here? You have a consistency of data, right? There is nothing. There is no conflicts. Nothing will happen. That is nothing but your sync.
yeah. No when no conflicting. This is sync.
Yes, yeah, it's another way. Like you can,
Mm,
your understanding, like the terminology that you use, it depends. But the understanding is like it is one time only one thread is going to act on that.
I
The
see.
other thread is in a waiting state. Once
I
this
see.
thread
Mm,
completes the action on that object, like I have taken the ticket booking, like it makes some real example. Once your ticket has been confirmed only, then other passenger or other user will act on that flight or an object of ticket booking. So until unless the other users will be in a waiting state.
I see. So it depends. So basically, there are some class are sync, some class in Java are non-sync. It depends, right? My
Yes, yes,
understanding is right. Okay.
yes.
It's just getting more complicated.
You see multi-threading, so where you have a lot of not like complications, so
Mm,
you learn many these things a lot.
I see. Okay, okay.
Actually, multi-threading is a very good concept. Like in Java, it was very vast
Mm,
actually. So if you are very good with multi-threading, there are some companies only see for multi-threading actually.
mm,
So it is very good one. It's like gaming things. Like for example, when you want to go to the gaming industry, this I think this concepts are used more, multi-threading concepts. Like when you play some games in mobile or somewhere, right?
yeah.
So there, this multi-threading was used actually. The sync, not
Mm,
sync. So we'll see that a little bit. We'll see it more clearly.
sure. Mm,
I don't know why this is happening. So your array list is nothing but you're not synchronized. It means, so
mm.
remember, whenever it is not synchronized, what happens? Tell me your performance will be faster or slower for a not synchronized object.
For you mean for non-sync, right?
Yes, the performance will be faster or slower.
Let me for non-sync. I think for non-sync performance will be will be slower, right? Because there will be conflict.
No, not like
No?
that. So
Mm.
conflicts is not like conflict will happen. I just use the term conflict will not happen, but it is like inconsistency. For example, it is so it is same time all the threads are going to act on that.
Oh,
So
in that case, non-sync will the performance will be faster,
yes, exactly.
will be better.
My yes,
Yeah,
because
because you you utilize the thread
yes,
are utilizing one object like at the same time.
yes,
So
exactly.
it's like
The
well used. The efficiency will have a booming efficiency
yes,
for
yes,
that object, right? In
it
this way.
yes, yes, exactly. It will be a non-sync will be very faster.
Mm,
Why it is faster? Because for example, all are trying to use that, right? So at the same time, your all the threads are going to access that. So what happens? there is another thread is going to wait, right? So completing of a task will be very faster. So obviously your non-sync will be faster. So whenever non-sync is faster, obviously your sync will be slower, right? So the
Yeah,
performance in
I got your point. Yeah, yes.
so because other threads will be in a waiting rate state, right? So that's the reason your sync will be little slow. And if I say non-synchronized, that is nothing but your uh, that is not thread safety. There is no thread safety, right? In case of non-synchronized, there is no case of thread safety. But in case of synchronized, you have a thread safety.
But
So
here, like because I know like there are some deadlock happens, like in I don't know the there are sometimes happening, there are some deadlocks in the I don't know, in the Java,
yes,
in JVM memory.
yes, yes, yes.
So
So with multi-threading also we have a deadlock concept. We'll see that.
okay, sure, yeah.
So it is like nothing is executing. It's just like a deadlock, right?
Yeah, in the in the JVU Java V2 VM, that tool, you can what happened? I don't remember. Like we took a thread down or heap down. I think it's a heap down. When you
Okay.
take a heap down, then you can see like if there is any like deadlock happening.
Okay. Fine. So you have a deadlock. So whatever we learned, that is the difference between your array list and vector.
Mm.
So as of now, what we learned, your synchronized, not synchronized, right? So that is the
Yes.
only difference between your array list and vector. So the slides are not there, right? I'm just telling you, try to understand it. And then it's getting stuck, right? So
I see. The vector is you can only use vector class like
yes,
like a
so you have
one
a vector. So you
think
have a,
like once a time.
yes,
So that's the only difference between vector and array list class.
yes, so yes, you have a vector class also, right? So that is also the adding of the elements and everything is same in your vector. But the little difference in the vector is that is your vector is a synchronized one. So when it is synchronized, the performance in a vector is little slow, and when it is synchronized, it will be a thread safety. So that is the only difference between array list and vector. So we have vector class also. That's the reason you use array list and vector. I'll show that in slide also. And we have seen in case of an array list, the updation is little slower. And what is faster in case of an array list? Your retrieval is faster. You can see this is nothing but my retrieval. I'm going to get something. So when I want to do an update in array list, how I'll do? I'll add that element index address and that element. So as I told you, right? So whenever you want to add, so for example, I have 0 1 index. So at one index there is a sixth element, right? I just want to add some 10 element. So what I'll do? Al dot add I have to see actually what happened to my laptop. I don't know why this much. It will be slow, but I don't know why this is doing like this. So I can able to add some this one index and some element, something like 10. So what you have done? You have added so one at one index. This is nothing but a specifying of index, and I have instead of 6 there is a 10 element. So this is nothing but your updating. So which is slower. So where this updating is faster in case of linked list. So you have a linked list that is also the child of the your list interface where your updation is faster and retrieval is slower. So when you want retrieval, your requirement is retrieval. My requirement is retrieval. So I'll choose array list. My requirement is updation. What I'll choose? I'll choose my what I'll be choosing the linked list. So why it is not printing? Because after adding, I have not printed it. Okay, build automatically. So first index, I want 10 element, right? al.get, I'm printing that. I was printing this before. Sorry. So if you see at the first index, I have 10 element. So before it was, before this, it was 6. So I'm printing before and after I'm printing. So before it was 6 and after adding it is 10. So before at this first position, you have 6 element. After adding 10, you have, so at one index, I'm adding 10 and it got changed. And this element got shifted. And your index size got an error. So if you see what is an element at the first index, I'm retrieving, that is your 10. Right? I think you are clear with about this updation. So you have a linked list, and your in the linked list, your updation is faster. Why? Because based on the structure that it stores. How your linked list will store the data is your linked list is going to store the data in case of nodes actually. So that's the reason your updation is a little faster in your linked list. I think you are clear with this, right? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Can you hear
yeah,
me?
yeah. Hi. So yeah. Sorry, it's the network provider had some issue. I
No
don't
issues.
see. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I thought you lost, but then I see there is no networking in my place.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. I was asking you. I thought you're listening actually, and I
Yeah.
was asking you. You have not replied.
I mean,
So
yeah.
there you missed actually.
Yeah.
You missed. So for example, if there is any miss that happens, you just chat. Then we can able to identify.
Yeah, sure. And then I just, I use the, I'm not, then I use the, how to say? I use the 4G, the 4G to text you. Yeah,
Okay,
there is a
I
backup.
understand. So
Yeah.
this is fine, right? I was explaining this. Are you
Yes,
with
yes.
me when I'm explaining this?
No. Yeah, you told me. Yes. I know. This is basically this array list. Yes,
Yes,
I
yes.
know that.
Updating, and so for example, before you have, I have told all this. So before you have six element at first index. So I'm just updating. So first index, I'm giving 10 element, and it gets updated. Right? I'm printing that before and after. A simple example, what we have seen in the slide.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, you add the
Now,
10 to like to the second place. That's it.
yes, at
To
the
that
first index.
array list, right?
And then what happens? Then there is a shifting happens to the elements, right? The element
Yes.
at
Yes.
six goes to the,
The shifting I understand. The shifting. Yes.
and this is like that's the reason your update it is your array list is not suitable for updating operations, right? So and your array list is suitable for what? Your array list is suitable for retrieval operations. So that's what you can see here.
Okay. Network is back. Okay.
Okay, you want to reconnect again?
No. I just check everything. Okay, it's good. Yeah, because
No.
everything is connected to Wi-Fi in my place. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So your array list is and you can see your array list allows random access because array has an index basis.
What does this mean actually?
Array list allows random access because your array works at the index basis. This is what. So for example, this is nothing but your random access, right? Your array list elements are stored in index spaces. So you can able to get that elements very quickly. For example, element at the 0 index or element at the 99 index. So I'll have the retrieval is very easy for me, right? In case of
So
operation.
this sentence means basically it means you can insert any number to any place. That's this sentence, because I don't understand what's this like allow random access. What does that mean? It means like when you
Allows
want to insert some number, right? It's
no,
something
no,
like that.
allows random access means random you can able to retrieve, right? Allows random access
Oh, okay.
because array works at the index basis.
Because array allows. Okay, that means if you want to retrieve certain number in certain order, you can easy to do that. That's what this means, right?
Yes. Not like
Okay.
so it's like a random access. For example, if you want to get an element at the 0 index or element at 90 index, is there any dependencies? No, right? So how you do? For example, I want to get an element at first index. I'll call al dot get one. So it will give which is element which is present at me the first index. So I want to get the element at this index like 1, 2, 3, 4, sixth index. I'll just call that sixth element. So this is nothing but your random access. You're trying to get an element. There is no dependency with the element present over here and element present over here, right? You got my point, right? Mike, you got my point?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, you got my point, right? So this is not,
Yeah. You mean like yes, when you want to. Yes.
so this is nothing but your random access, and it is difficult for the updation. What is happening to this slide?
Yeah, you are using laptop or desktop?
I was using laptop. I don't know PowerPoint. This is creating
Yeah,
a
it
problem.
seems yeah, performance not good to.
So you should help me as a performance tester.
Yeah. That's true. I try to. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So like maybe what's the reason I'm not getting, like something I need to clear from the C folder, or I have to increase the RAM space. I don't know why this my laptop is getting slow.
Yeah.
I'm not normally asking. So what I need to check actually why it's getting slow? Is there, what's the reason generally? Like where I need to check, is that memory slow, or
Mm,
I'm just you have
generally
an
I
idea,
think
right?
it's a RAM. Yeah. There were some for me like I clean some the temporary folder for something, something like that.
So
Yeah.
if you see I have a C folder where I have this much space. So is
Mm.
it like more space
No, it
compared?
should be good. No, it's in a good condition. Yeah.
I don't have much. I don't keep much. Even there is nothing movies. Some there are no data. Even where I just only keep some text files. That's it.
Yeah, it seems good. I don't. Yeah, in that case,
Maybe I should. This is a 4 GB. Maybe I have to extend it to 8 GB actually.
yeah.
Mm.
No, yeah, but even with 4 GB, it's per point should be fine. I mean, you are not running a game. Like, I
Yes,
don't know.
yes, exactly. These things should be fine because I was mostly I use, like what happens. There was an office laptop, so I was not concentrating on this.
Mm.
So I just don't want to deal this stuff with an office laptop. Nothing happens, but I just don't want to do this. It is very good. Office laptop is very good, so it will not give any trouble actually for me. So I need to reinstall this or something. I'll do this with the PowerPoint.
Yeah, maybe like restart after our session. Will maybe
Yes.
maybe it's a
So
temporary thing. Yeah.
yes. So even I'll just show with the linked list. So if you see the same thing, whatever you have seen with an array list,
Mm.
similarly like in linked list. So here it is also going to same, like I see linked list. You are just adding it, right? You're adding the elements to the linked list. And you see this linked list will also preserve the insertion order. It is also all the null values and everything is same. But the only difference is nothing but your updation is faster in linked list and your retrieval is slower. So if I print this, you get the same output as you got. You see, I've changed it into a linked list. So you get the same output what we got.
Okay, so why that happen?
Which one?
I mean, why like it's update faster and retrieve slow?
Yes, I will show the structure, then you get clarity. I think
Okay.
you got a clarity why your
Mm.
array list is faster in updation, sorry, faster in retrieval and slower in updation. You got
Mm.
that clarity, right? Because
Yeah.
of its structure, that how it stores the
Mm.
data.
Actually, from my side, I can see you PPT. I can see
Ah,
the slide even now. Like because I have two screens. Like in another screen, I'm right now I'm at your linked list slide.
okay, okay, you are at linked list, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
So
can see it.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, then it's good. So if you see your linked list, how you see how the data is added. So for example, when you want to add some elements to a linked list, so you see I am adding, assume that 169. So what happens whenever you add a one? So the data which was seen your slide is little different, but assume that you are adding one there. So when you are trying to add one in that place, what happens? It is going to store one with some address. You see, right? Everything we have a node. So you can see here also, I think it got opened. So if you see the linked list, so assume that you are adding 15, 3, 70, 90 to a linked list. So your linked list will have everything. It is going to store with some node. So that node will contain two parts. one part is nothing but the data that you're storing, and the next part is nothing but the address of the next element. Right, assume that this node is in 3200, and what is this 3600? This is the address of the next element. So you see 3600 is an address of the next element. So in this way every element got connected. In case of array list, how the elements are connected based on the indexes. So in case of this, how your elements are connected, how your data objects that is present, or the data present in your linked list is connected based on the addresses. So every node will have two parts. One part is the content, and next part is nothing but the address. What is that address? It is the address of the next element. So assume that you are adding 15, 3, 17, 90. So when you print, what is your output? Your output will come in an order. How it is coming in an order? Because based on this address, right? You have 3200, that is nothing but a head address. So where your first element address is going to store, and you have like this, you are having an addresses. I think with the slide you are clear, right? Or any confusion?
Just one question about the slide. What's the number behind the box? The first one, I mean not this one, this one here, 3200.
That is what the head address, right? So as I told you, header.
Header. So okay.
Not like header. So for example, you are storing first element, right? For example, assume that in a linked list, I am storing 15, 3, 17. So you can see my thing, right? I am storing 15, 3, 17, 9. So you are storing only these 4 elements to your linked list, right? So when you print your linked list, what happens? It is going to print that data. So how it is going to print? It is going to print in an order. 50. So how it is going to print in an order? Because there is a connection between the objects. So what is that connection? They are connected by addresses. Before case of array list, how they are connected? They are connected with the indexes, and you are printing in order. So here also you see your 15. For example, when you store a 15, so that 15 will have. So you see it is printed in order. How you add? So your 15 will have some address, right? So every element when you add, it should have it will be stored in address only, right? In computer perspective. So the element of the address of the 15 element is nothing but the head address, because that is your first element that you are adding, right? So that is what your 3200 is nothing but your head address. Now your 15 element, you have the data, and in this segment your 15 will be storing in a segment. Assume some segment or node. So this node will contain two parts. One part is the data, and the next part is the address of the next element. So what is this 3600? That is nothing but the address of the next element. What is the next element here? 3. So what is your address of 3? 3600. So this is 3. So it will contain two ones. One is two parts. One is the data, and one more is the address of your 3. Now the same like for 3. So 3 will also have two parts. One part is for data, and next part is nothing but the address of the next element. What is my next element? 17. So for that 17 element address, 17 element address will be there, and next element is 19. So 19 element address, and you have a null because this is my last element. You don't have any other element. So for example, when you add some other element, that address will come over here. So it is going to.
So head is the first address.
Yes.
Right. Head is first address, and then it following in a sequence, and then
yes,
the last one is none.
Yes. I think this slide should make you very clear.
Yeah. Okay. Now I got it. Yes. Okay. Because I thought the head and the address is a different thing. but it's related.
Head is also an address, but what is the head? It is the address of the first element.
Yes, and then it will throw like in a sequence way.
Yes, I think you can next slide you can go. It will be your difference between your array list and vector, and the
Yes,
difference between your. You have gone to the next slide, right?
yes, yes.
So it is the difference between your array list and the vector, as well as what is the difference between your
Mm.
array list as well as linked list. So you just go to 2 minutes, go through that difference. So if you see
Okay.
array list and vector, we just discussed it. So your array list is synchronized, not synchronized. Your vector is synchronized. I think you found the same difference there, right? We have discussed
Yes.
in the beginning.
Mm, mm,
So you find that difference, right?
mm.
You find what is the difference. Your array list is little faster than your vector. Why? Because your vector is synchronized. In synchronized, the performance will be little slower. You can able to read that differences, right? Everything.
Yes, yes.
So, and you see with array list and linked list also similarly. Your linked list is, so you see why it is faster for you understood why it is faster for updating this. Whenever you update, only that particular node address is going to get changed. It is not going to do that shifting will not happen. So that there is the elements are not much interdependent. That's the reason your updation is faster in linked list, and the retrieval is slower because you are when you are trying to retrieve it, you are going to it is like dependency. The one node has a dependency of another node. So that's the reason your retrieval is slower in the case of linked list, right? And you have next, if you go to the next slide, you have cursors. Mike?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So next slide, if you go, it will be a cursors, right?
Yes.
So you have three cursors in Java. One is your enumeration, one is your iterator, one more is your list iterator. And if you see what is the cursor is, so for example, you add some elements to the collection. For example, I added 9, 10, 20, some elements I added to the collection, right? So after adding the elements to a collection, what I want only the even numbers. Assume that you added 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, some elements you added. So in this case, I want only even numbers. So if I want only even numbers to print it, for example, if you print that collection, what happens? It is going to print entire list, right? It is going to print odd numbers also, but I don't want that odd numbers. I want only the even numbers. So then what I need to do? I need to take every object from that collection, and I need to check whether there is that is an even or not, right? I need to satisfy that even condition. So it is like even condition is it is divisible by 2 or not, and I need to print only even numbers. So in this case, what do you need to do? You need to iterate the elements. It means you need to get the elements from one by one, and you need to do some operation. So getting an elements one by one, and so to get the elements one by one, you use cursors. Cursor is something like iterating the objects in a collection, right? You want to get one. Now, if you print in the case of array list or linked list, what you are printing all the objects, right? But what I want one of the object from the collection, and I want to check some condition, and I want to print it. So it is like getting the objects one by one. So to further reason, you use cursors. So you have three cursors. The three cursors do the same. So what they do, they take the object from the collection, and if you want, what are the condition that you will be checking it. The purpose of collection cursor is to get the object from the collection. Why you need to get? To check some condition, you may do that. So for that we have enumeration, for that you have iterator, for that you have a list iterator. So uh, enumeration is only for the legacy classes. You are clear with that point, right? What is a cursor, Daniel? Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, yes.
So you have an enumeration. So what is this enumeration is? Enumeration is used to get the elements from it. But what happens? This is used only for the legacy classes. So what I mean by the legacy classes is your vector. and you cannot apply enumeration for the your array list and linked list. As I told you, right? Legacy means something old.
Something what? Something older.
Old. Legacy is something old.
Oh,
For
the
example,
older, the
old.
OLD, right? Older.
Old. So for example, you have for example, enumeration was introduced in 1.0 and your vector also introduced in 1.0. That both I call it as legacy.
Oh, vector is like older Java.
Old one. So you have versions, right? In Java, you have 1.0,
Yes, yes.
1.2.
Now it's like 15 now even, right?
Yes,
15,
yes.
16.
Yes, yes. They are increasing the versions. But as of the market right now, the people are
8.
using 8 only. 8. People are people are still, there are some people who use 7 only. So what, like, version changes, there will be not much differences. All will be same, but you have some little features that gets added, right? Because there is it's a huge market. So you have Python, there are a lot of languages that are coming. So even this Java is also changing its flavors and releasing a lot of versions. But no need to bother about, like, once you learn one version clearly, the other versions, there are some little flavors that gets added to it, but the basic concept will never change, right? So similarly, you have the 1.0, which is the initial version of Java. So in that version only, they have introduced your vector and enumeration. So that you call it as legacy. Old one, you call it as legacy. And this enumerator is applicable only for the legacy one. For example, I can apply only enumeration for the vectors. I cannot apply the enumeration for an array list or linked list because they are not the legacy. I think you
For
can
like for old class, legacy
hold it.
class, right?
Yes,
Legacy class. Okay.
yes. Okay, I'll wind up better because I'll just try to sort out this issue.
Yeah,
So
sure, sure.
I, you are clear up to this, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I
we'll,
will also review and yeah, we can discuss tomorrow.
yes, yes, fine. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Have,
Have a good night, Soya.
yes, yes. Have a nice day. Good night, then. Sorry,
Okay, bye.
have a nice morning. Right? Have a nice day.